Hello, and welcome to another session of the Judge's Corner. This is part two of a two-part series on utilizing PDFs as exhibits in uh, bench trial hearings or remote hearings utilizing Zoom. The principles that apply to the use of PDFs and files can be applied to video in terms of sharing a screen, popping up the video file. So what I'm showing here can be applied to different types of files. And if you'll bear with me here just a second, I'm going to pause my video so I can pull up a screen that I neglected to pull up earlier. So welcome back. This again is part two using Zoom. What we're going to cover in this video is using a PDF, making the PDF, using multiple files during a hearing, using a single file that's indexed and bookmarked but may have multiple parts to it. And then I'm going to show you the application that I'm using to demonstrate how to utilize PDFs and index them and so on. And it's a free application. It's called PDFX, and it can allow you to combine files. I believe it'll let you combine files. It'll at least let you index a single document. So if you have a scan PDF or PDF created using a scanner, you can go in and bookmark those pages. You don't necessarily have to create a PDF the way I have. So those are going to be what we use. I'm going to share my screen as I demonstrated before. And the first screen I'm going to share is that PDF. Now you'll see that my picture stays up here on the screen through the course of my speaking so I don't lose contact with you. So, as I mentioned, we have an application called PDF, and I've got a file already loaded called Combined Docs. You'll see in the, let me pull this little picture out of the way. In the menu, there's various settings on how you can scroll. You can take a screenshot and utilize that. You can edit text. You can add a signature. You can insert an image, page numbers, stamps, which are a way to apply graphics. Here's the preset that you can throw a stamp on your document. If you do a custom stamp, that's the way you can make exhibit labels such as plaintiffs 1, 2, 3, and 4. Create a custom stamp with this app by adding a custom stamp. You can annotate the PDF by putting different things in text boxes, highlight, strike through text if it's capable of that. If you create a scanned document, you can't do this. I'm going to show you how to create searchable PDF documents. I'm going to delete that highlighting. But basically, you can drag and drop these annotation marks on text during a hearing, and you can hide the annotation with this. As far as pages, here's the entire file that I've got different documents. We can extract pages. We can insert pages. Blank page, insert from Word, from an image, insert a PDF. Typically, if you insert a PDF, you're going to insert from a file, so it's going to give you an opportunity to browse, and that's actually how I constructed this document you're seeing on the screen. There's a document here, this one that starts with the redaction is a DOPO from a case, a domestic, or excuse me, division of property order involving a state type pension or retirement account or deferred comp, and then a little PDF of a pleading type contract document I created. So this is a jumble of different documents. Then we'll go back to that once we go to the full view. We'll go back to the full view. So that's a little bit about PDFX, and again, that app is free. It's got a lot of versatility to it. And if you download that, I use Windows, so this doesn't necessarily mean that application's for free in an Apple environment. But for Windows and probably if you're using a Chrome-based device, Google, or Android, I should say, Android device, I assume that application is going to be there. It probably has a Windows or a Apple version of it too, but I do use Windows and Microsoft based. So how do we make a PDF? Well, as I mentioned earlier, you can run a document through a scanner or picture through a scanner and convert that to the scan process will convert it or save it as a PDF if you set up your scanner that way. You can also take a Word document. I've got a Word document here, and you can just convert that right from Word to PDF by more or less printing it. You have a couple of options. If you click on the File button up here in your Word application, and this works pretty much the same for any version of Word that you're using, you have a print option, and one of your print options is going to be Microsoft Print to PDF, because that comes with Microsoft Windows. You print that, it's going to create a searchable PDF text. Another way to do it is to export to PDF, and you create a PDF document. And that's typically what I utilize. It's pretty basic. It's just like a print. It's going to take you to a location to save the document, and I'm going to save this document in PDF format, and boom, it's saved. So now I'm going to rotate to that document that I just created. And you'll see that Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, and boom, now it's up here in PDF. Now, this loaded in a different application called Foxit Phantom. This is a paid application, and I shouldn't have done that. But you can use multiple. There are paid applications you can use. If you want a free application, use the PDFX, because it's got that ability to merge and pull apart documents. If you use Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is another free application out there, it works for demonstration purposes, but it's more difficult to bookmark and index a document. It doesn't have the pull apart, the delete or inserting page capabilities in the free version, whereas PDFX does. It's got a lot of nice functionality for a free version of software. So I would recommend that, and that's why I'm using the demonstration with that. So I'm going to open that file instead with PDFX. You'll see I've got a lot of different PDF annotation programs, simply so I can help people. I've even got a full version, older version of Adobe Acrobat. But now I've launched this in PDFX, and you can see on my status bar it's separate. But I can go ahead and combine it with this document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert that page into my file. So I just need to browse to my file location. Even though it's open in a window, you actually browse to the location where you saved it. I'm going to look for a, well, I don't want image files, so I guess I pulled the wrong thing here. I'm going to cancel. Well, maybe it won't let me put one in unless it's an actual image file. So I can't show that, but using my software, that's what I did with these pages. So I've got one document here. I added a page. Now this is a scan. As I drag my cursor over here, you'll see that this document having been scanned, my cursor is not highlighting anything for annotation purposes. In the searchable PDF, you'll see that it does. And then actually when I'm done clicking on it, it gives me some options here to do something with that searchable text. So if you wanted to convert your file to a JPEG format, which would give you a way of popping that into this document, because I can add images even though I can't add PDF files, there's one way to have a workaround to import and compile this document, except it's going to have a bunch of JPEG files or graphic files and be a huge document. So when you're presenting exhibits during a trial, let's go ahead and insert a stamp, and let's create a custom stamp here with this application. I'm going to call it well, it's not letting me do this through the share, so let me go about this in a different way. Maybe that's part of my problem. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm just going to pull that application up on my computer screen, and I'm going to add a custom stamp. I'm going to call this exhibit, type it, exhibit box. And I'm going to go in there and edit the stamp, and I'm going to call this one exhibit. Now let's just do it this way. Plaintiff exhibit number 1. And boom, I've marked that exhibit. I'm going to go down here to the next document. I'm going to apply my custom stamp. Next time I should save the custom stamp setup, shouldn't I? So let's save the custom stamp setup. I'm going to apply that. Double click on my box and change that to exhibit, plaintiff exhibit, exhibit number 2. Now let's go down to the last document in this set. This last document is a searchable text too, as you can see. And I'm going to add my custom stamp, and now it is here because I saved it. And although I neglected to do so before, I'm going to call this plaintiff exhibit number 3. Okay, so now I've got my exhibits done. Oh, it didn't save. Let's try that again. There we go. So now I've got my exhibit stamps on my documents. To do some protection in this version of software, you have to upgrade. I can tell you it pays to buy a program that has full capabilities. My recommendation for an inexpensive program, or one of the cheaper ones that's got all the full functions you would want, is Foxit Phantom PDF. You can go with Adobe Acrobat Reader cloud version, and then pay for a subscription fee for that, and that'll get you full capabilities. One of these things with annotations, and if you look at my series on applying a signature, is flattening. Another full function PDF annotation program is called Drawboard PDF. In terms of a free version for applying signatures, that one does a nice job, and it lets you flatten your annotations, which actually is to burn them into the document, which is a nice thing. But getting back here, we've got our 3 exhibits. This is a multiple document exhibit. One way you can present exhibits during your Zoom hearing is by sharing a screen, obviously. Now, if I were to share a screen and I had all of my exhibits in a single folder, I would probably want to share this screen that I've got up here right now. This is the screen I'm sharing. And I'm going to go to a folder that's got my PDF documents. And you can see, whoop, wrong one. Here it is. Here's my folder that's got all my multiple documents. And I can share one document at a time. This is going to open in Foxit Phantom. And there's that same document. I can also, now that I'm in that document on my computer, share another document separately, and share a third document separately. And then that last document I created actually was, I believe, in my Using Zoom folder. Yeah, so I'm going to pull it from there. Now, the reason I pulled all these documents up at once, none of these have exhibit marks yet because I've only manipulated that single file that's a combination of these 4 files. Depending upon the software application you're using, you could preload all of your exhibits one at a time and just go from tab to tab as you're presenting exhibits, sharing your screen, and have them pre-marked. I can certainly edit documents here and insert text box. I can apply stamps with this document. I can import, again, this is Foxit Phantom, one that I use quite a bit. It just doesn't do well if you're drawing on something. That part of the functionality of this particular application doesn't work that great. But if you're using a keyboard, mouse, and that type of annotation, it's for editing, it works pretty well. It lets you protect the document and flatten things, but here's a bunch of stuff that can be added. A text field can be used to add an exhibit stamp. You can just do simple things like that. I'm going to delete that. So, point is these are separate files. Each exhibit is a separate file. And I've got them loaded into a single application, so I can move through my exhibits this way. Or I can pull them up one at a time just by going to the folder where those exhibits are. and pull up the individual documents. There we go. So I could just leave this window open, minimize it to my screen. You'll see this training folder, which is where I'm getting that document from. Need to move things out of the way so I can, well, let's stop sharing that document. So I'm going to share again using this one. And you'll notice I'm going to actually stop sharing this screen because I want to go back and do that again. When I share the screen, it gave me a primer to share multiple screens. So if I hold the control key down, it'll let me select multiple windows. And you'll notice I've got a Foxit Phantom and a PDFX document. I'm going to open them both. And both of those share screens are up here for sharing. So and once they're subject to sharing, they can be annotated. So I can annotate, and I can pick, I can erase, I can stamp while I'm presenting the document, so I could have a client even spotlight a section. Well, it's not letting me use the spotlight. Oh, I guess I need to pick one. And unfortunately for that text, since this particular document is not searchable, it's not letting me use the spotlight function, but I do want to show it to you. So let me get to the searchable document up here. And here we go. Here's a searchable document. So if I highlight text, it's just you'll see my cursor and I can do it this way there. Now it's letting me highlight. And I could just highlight it with my cursor, or another spotlight is to just basically draw on it. And then I can clear all the drawings so everything goes away, or I can save it as annotated. So if you had a client drawings, you can save the annotation as a picture, that's what a PNG file is, or as a PDF. Saved as PDF. I'm going to show it in the folder. It threw it in my Zoom meeting folder, which is a default application on my computer because I've got a Zoom application installed. So that's where it throws my chat windows and things like that. So that's part of how we would utilize exhibits. And again, it's just share the screen, and you can also optimize for a video clip if you're sharing a video clip. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, so we kind of wipe everything out. Now I'm going to show my combined PDF document that's got my exhibit labels on. And I want to show you indexing. Let's just say I've got this single PDF document, but it's got multiple pages, and I want it, instead of having the tabs of individual documents. Well, there's nothing wrong with a single file. And you can do things to navigate through it by adding bookmarks. So this new bookmark is going to be I'm going to rename it. Well, maybe it's not going to let me rename the bookmark. Let me go down to page 2 and see if it'll let me rename the or add another bookmark. There we go. Now it's going to let me add. So this is going to be page 2. That's just what I'm going to call it. Now I should be able to rename this one. There we go. It's going to be page 1. Oops, I have a typo here, so I'm going to go to page 2. Now you'll notice I'm on the page when I create that bookmark. So I'm going to scroll down here and just make this bookmark by adding Dopo page 1. Hit my return key. Let me scroll down to the last page of the Dopo, and I'm going to go to the top of that page. I'm going to add a bookmark, and this is going to be Dopo page 7. Hit the return key or enter key, and now I'm going to go down to my last document. And these could all be exhibit numbers. So if I added a bookmark, I could go just call it by the exhibit number, plaintiff exhibit number 3. And I might want to put, if there are multiple pages, this is only a single page exhibit, but I could put that in parentheses. And now I can navigate this exhibit. There's page 2, there's my Dopo page 1, there's my Dopo page 7, here's my plaintiff exhibit 3, page 1, it's a single page. So I now have a and you see it's highlighting the page I'm on, so it's telling me I can close out those bookmarks, but as soon as I click on that bookmark in this PDFX, I've created an index for this PDF file that lets me just do one file. I've got everything attached, and if I take the exhibits out of order and I start with exhibit 3, I can go right to that. I find this very handy for me as judge. If an attorney gives me all of their exhibits in a single file with indexing, I find that to be very helpful as opposed to separate files where I have to go in and look through a whole list of exhibits to find the one I'm looking for, whereas they're right here in one file and indexed. So we've talked about the free PDF app using a single file with indexed and bookmarked pages. Using multiple files, you can pull those up as you need them. Creating a PDF with a print function from your computer, print to PDF, which if you use Windows, it's Microsoft Print to PDF. It should be an export function in the print menu when you go to File, Print. It has option to print or export. Click the export and then export to PDF or print to PDF. And how to go ahead and annotate and use that PDF. So when you open these PDFs in the screen, even with the sharing function, now I'm in my software here, and this software lets me annotate. But if I share this document through the share window, now I'm sharing. I can click on the annotation button, and all of these annotation functions let me do different things. And let's format this to a different color. Let's go to red. And so now my text turns red. I can draw a square line. I can just use a point or make a circle. I can draw with the line. I can go mouse, and mouse just lets me create a field, which I'm going to see if it lets me delete it. Yes, it does. And then I could save if I want to save. This lets me change the line. Can add a stamp. These are just little marks that I can add on there. So I can clear all drawings. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to clear all drawings again. And that's basically how you would manipulate a document during a client's testimony and then save. So I'm going to close that tool. I'm going to stop sharing. And that's pretty much how you would use exhibits. If you pull them up, if you look, I was pulling things up from a shared folder. I could also pull in documents. Let me open a window here. That gets me to a cloud drive. And I'll show you my cloud drive, or pulling from a cloud folder. We're going to pause this for just a moment. So as you can see now, I've opened up a cloud window. It's got those same documents in my training file folder that I had opened in Windows Explorer, but now I've actually opened it in my browser. See the little cloud function? This is OneDrive being viewed through Microsoft Edge. I'm going to go to my Zoom meeting, and I'm going to share that folder. And you'll see it's telling me this is the Training OneDrive Personal Microsoft Edge folder that I just showed you and opened. So I'm going to share that folder. And I can pull up a document if I'm doing hearing. I could pull it up, a file up straight from there. The thing is this is opening in a browser. It's not opening in a PDF application, so I can still annotate, as you can see, because I'm annotating the window. And if I click on the annotations, it's still going to let me save this picture even though it's a browser. It's basically doing a screen save, and it's going to allow me to save that as a PDF. So if I save it as a PDF, it's gone to my folder that's my Zoom folder. You'll notice that that annotation mark doesn't go away. So I'm going to clear all annotations, because it's actually annotating on the screen. I'm going to stop sharing that window. So while you're looking at this, I'm going to pause my video again and browse to a location. So I want to show you what Zoom does when you save that annotated document. You'll see I've got the annotated document up on the screen. My Zoom folder where that's saved is all of these different screenshots. So it's taking a picture of the screen. And you'll see here's another screenshot where I saved the Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it's called a screenshot. This is opening up in my PDF application because I've saved all of these as PDFs. You'll see my documents on my PC. This is a Zoom folder that was set up, and these are all file folders from prior hearings. Some of these have just chat in them, or they might be empty because it's creating a folder for every hearing I've ever had. And a lot of times I delete the chat, so most of these are empty folders, but it'll save a chat in there if I'm doing a chat and I'm hosting the meeting. So these came out of this particular recording. So you'll see PDF for the screenshot, screenshot 3, and that's where they go, and that's what they look like. I'm going to close out of that application, and I'm not going to save the changes to any of those documents. I'm going to turn off that screen, and you're back with me. So that concludes this little demonstration video as well, using a PDF, making a PDF, how to pull those up and share those in your screen. You can preload them to your window like I've done down here in a tab, or you could browse to a folder and have everything in the folder and the folder open and just go browse to it when you share. If you don't have it preloaded, but having your exhibits plural or a single file that contains all of your exhibits preloaded on your status bar and minimized during the hearing speeds the hearing process along. I hope you found this to be useful, and thank you for participating. Have a good day.